The last passenger. They say in Walu, never board a matatu after midnight because when the city sleeps, other things begin to ride the roads. And sometimes you might become the last passenger. Kevin worked late that night. Too late. By the time he left his office in Dolo, the streets were nearly empty. Streetlights flickered and even the hawkers had gone home. He checked his phone. 1:04 a.m. No boda bodas in sight. No taxis passing. Only one option left. The lone matatu waiting at the stage. It looked ordinary enough. A little worn out with cracked windows and faded graffiti. But Kevin felt uneasy. Something about it seemed wrong. Still, he had no choice. He climbed in. Inside, the air was heavy. Only three other passengers sat in silence. At the front, near the driver, a businessman tapped nervously on his phone. In the middle, a tall man in a black coat sat stiffly, staring straight ahead. And in the very back, an old woman, her face hidden under a shawl. Kevin sat near the window, clutching his bag. The conductor shuffled down the aisle, eyes low, and took his money without a word. No greeting, no smile, not even a glance. The matatu pulled away, swallowed by the night. Minutes passed. The road grew darker. Kevin tried to relax, but every sound felt too loud. The creak of the seats, the hum of the engine, the businessman's shaky breathing. Then the old woman leaned forward. Her voice was a dry whisper. Young man, when we stop, do not look behind you. No matter what happens, just get out. Kevin's skin crawled. He turned to her, but she had pulled her shawl back over her face, silent again. He swallowed hard. Was she mad or drunk? He tried to ignore it, but her words gnawed at him. Without warning, the matatu slowed and stopped, but not at a stage, not near any houses or shops, just an empty stretch of road, swallowed in darkness. The driver kept his hands on the wheel. He didn't turn, he didn't speak. And then the tall man in the black coat stood up. Kevin's stomach twisted. There was something wrong about the way he moved. Jerky, unnatural, like bones cracking inside his body. Kevin wanted to look away, but he couldn't. The man's shadow stretched across the matatu walls, longer than it should have been, much longer. The businessman dropped his phone. His mouth opened in a silent scream, but no sound came out. The tall man turned his head. His skin peeled away like wet pepper, sliding off his face. Beneath it, hollow eyes, black as star, and a grin that cut too wide across his jaw. The old woman hissed beside Kevin, "Don't look!" Kevin squeezed his eyes shut. He clamped his hands over his ears, but he could still hear it. The tearing of flesh, the crunch of bone, and something wet being devoured. When Kevin finally dared to open his eyes, the matatu was empty. The driver, the conductor, the businessman, the tall man, gone. Only he and the old woman remained. She grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "Come, now." They stumbled out into the cold night air. Kevin turned back, gasping, but the matatu had vanished. Not even tire tracks remained on the road. Kevin spun around to thank the woman. His voice shook. "You saved me." Who are you?" But the road was empty. She was gone. No footsteps, no shadow, nothing. Just Kevin, standing alone under a flickering streetlight, trembling, clutching his back. From that night on, Kevin never boarded a matatu after midnight again. And if you ever find yourself at a lonely stage in Walu and a strange matatu stalks for you, remember this. Sometimes the last ride isn't meant for the living. Sometimes you may just be the last passenger.